So first things first, the setup. How do we even set up for this drill? So I'm going to start with my chest on the bar. And from here, I'm going to walk my feet out until I find the right angle. So really what I'm looking for as a coach is about a 90-degree angle here in my ankle, okay? About a 90-degree angle. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for as a coach. Once I've got that, this is my start position. So right away in this position, I'm looking to see what's happening. Can we hold the position? What's happening with our trunk? Okay, am I overarched here? Okay, am I going into extension? Okay, can we hold this position? Okay, so that's our setup. So from here, we'll make it dynamic. So we'll get into our start position, okay, chest on the bar, walk our feet out, find the right angle. Okay, so now I'm going to tell the athlete to sit back. So as we sit back, I'm looking at a few different things here. So the first one is what we call shin discipline. So as I sit back, okay, do I drop my shins a lot? Okay, do I bring my shins up? Can I even hinge? Okay, because essentially this is a hinge movement. So that's our first cue. We're going to sit back, and I want to see that we can hold our shin position. Okay? So as we sit back, once we find our position, we're going to power through. So as I power through, I'm just pushing my head through. Okay? And we can go a little bit slower if we need to. Sit back, power through. Sit back, power through here. Okay, so again, one of the things that I'm looking for first is our shin discipline. And again, shin discipline meaning as I sit back, I should be able to keep my shins right where they are. I'm not going to drop them. I'm not going to extend through my knees. Shins stay right where they are. The next thing I'm looking at is our ability to push through our hips. Okay, we want to extend our hips. We say butt before back. All right, so when we talk about trunk discipline, that's what that is. So being able to extend through my hips, right, without extending through my lower back. And that's why it's extremely important to make sure that we push forward. So one of my cues that I use is that there's a glass plate right here, and we're trying to break the glass plate with our head. All right? And I'm going to show the athlete where the plate is so that every time I push forward, I'm really pushing to break the glass plate instead of pushing up here. Once we feel like the athlete is doing a good job of finding positions that we're looking for in this progression, we can start moving a little bit faster, okay? On our sit back, right, and on our power through. Everything's dynamic here. There's also a single leg variation of this, and our setup is really the same. But with our single leg variation, we've got a top position and a bottom position. All right, and we can really just use those as ISO holds, especially if we want to teach athletes what these positions should feel like, how they should find these positions. So in our top ISO hold position, all right, I'm going to actively push the ground away, and we're looking for a big shape. So we want to create a big shape, and that's why it's extremely important that we're actively pushing the ground away. So I'm, as an athlete, not thinking about lifting my leg up, but rather pushing the ground away, pushing my stand leg into the ground, trying to rip a hole in the carpet, rip a hole in the floor. Because if I can actively push behind me, then I'm going to be able to create more space to find a big shape. Set up. Okay, and we're thinking push to punch. So I'm pushing the ground away, and that's going to help me find more space and create a big shape. And our coach's eye is always working. So as an athlete's going through this progression, one of the things that I'm looking at is, can they even create that big shape? Do they have the range of motion to be able to create that shape? If not, I'm going to start looking at why not. What's missing? What's something that we need to address here? Bottom position. Setup is going to be the same. Going to find our angle, chest on the bar, and from here, again, we're working on shin discipline. So as we go to find that bottom position, we don't want our shin to drop too far or to come up too high. All right? So as we find our bottom position, we're going to load up. Okay? My back leg is extended. And again, as a coach, my coach's eye is always working. What are some of the things that we see? So if we start to hold this position for 15, 20 seconds, you'll see athletes start to revert back to the things that are normal for them, the things that feel comfortable. So do we have that shin discipline that we're looking for? Do we have the trunk discipline that we're looking for? As we sit in that position, what's happening with our trunk? Okay? Are we getting into that overextension? Are we here trying to find our shape, or can we hold the position that we should be holding at the bottom here? This bottom position might be uncomfortable for some athletes, especially athletes that maybe have patella problems or maybe some kind of anterior knee problem. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but this is another chance for us to teach those athletes how to position their bodies, especially their trunk, so that we can maybe alleviate some of those symptoms and take some stress off. For example, in this position, I can play with the position of my pelvis and my trunk, and I know that if I'm overextended here, I've got a lot more stress on the quads and my knee, that if I can go to a neutral trunk, more of a neutral position, right, I can take some of that pressure and that stress off. So again, isometrics are a great opportunity for us to help athletes learn positions and figure out how to get into these positions. And from there, we can make it dynamic. So we're going to find our setup, find our position. Like with our double leg variation, we are going to sit back, power through, sit back, power through. So the important thing here is that as I push through, as I power through, I'm really not thinking about what's happening with my swing leg. I'm pushing to punch. So that means everything is generated by me pushing off of my stand leg. My